Hello again. Hey, it's Dan here in Virginia. I'm down in the workshop working on the Sky Ranger 40. Wanted to give you a quick update on the installation of the push rods. The push rods on this airplane, I've decided to go with the latest thing from Dubro called laser rods. They're 36-inch flexible push rods. They're really neat. I'm telling you, after using them so far, I'm so impressed with these things. It's incredible. They consist of, you can see the red rod on the outside here, and this red rod on the inside of that rod has a shape like a star pattern. I can't do justice here, but you need to look them up online. And down inside that rod is a clear plastic rod. I hope you can see it right here. This is actually the push rod. Clear plastic rod, and then in the end of those rods, you screw in different couplings. Here's one here. This is a 2-56 rod, and you put this in the end. That's what you're looking at right here. 256 rod, and it's got a lock nut and a spring steel clevis goes on the end, and they do give you some rubber keepers that I'll put on here eventually. But the combination of this clear plastic rod inside, which is actually the push rod, inside this red housing, which is a star-shaped thing, and so this inner tube rides on the star points of this red rod. So what that makes, and they're both plastic or nylon, whatever they're made of, but it's just almost frictionless. It's incredible. So you put those in, and I went through the bulkheads, and I hope you can see this. Down inside between the bulkheads, at first I was going to use light ply. There's plenty of scraps, light ply, so nah, just use balsa. So this is balsa, and it was actually, I cut it down, it was a little bit wider. I cut it down to 3/4, and I fit it, every one. This one, the bulkhead, this one, the bulkhead number 2, and this one, the bulkhead number 3. And I put the rods in, and I let them go slack, just where they would lay down naturally. The idea is to keep the rods as straight as possible until they come back here and come out the back. Now, of course, I'm going to have to cut these off. You have to custom make these rods. It's perfect. I can't imagine a better setup than this. But I've got it set up just for the fun of it on my little servo tester here, and these high-tech servos are great, but that's the center point of the servos. This one here, it's not exactly at 90 quite, but this one is. Or you put them on continuous, and they just work so slick. And what I'll have to do in the end, I'll have to go down in here. They recommend you come down right in here. I will put a little epoxy around this side of the rod and this side, each side on the bulkhead. You put a little epoxy just to keep that rod from slipping, and then you're good to go. So when I come back here, I'll probably put a little cable tie on this side here just to bring these together right in here. Just a little cable tie, pinch those together, and this is where it comes out. And pinch that together there, and these are rock solid. I can't believe how nice it is when you get this set up. And let's see, I'm going to probably, on this airplane, I'm going to have to glue this punch out. I'm going to have to glue this back in, and then make a diagonal hole to make this rod come out through the side for the rudder. And the rudder hookup on this is interesting. You're going to have to put, I've got finally figured it out, on the tail wheel, which I put together. I got it bent up here, and it goes up through here. Tail wheel goes up through like so. It will go up, and of course this thing will be cut off. This goes like this, and this will be cut off, a L shape, and it will go into the rudder. And then to connect the rudder, right here you're going to have to put another wheel collar, which I have on order, a wheel collar, and you replace the grub screw with a long screw that acts as the grub screw, and that long screw goes through a special connector, a nylon connector, that will push back and forth on this. It's hard to describe, but it should work just great. But they, you know, you're sort of left up to your own. These kit planes, they're okay about 90%. They tell you what to do, and 10% you're on your own. They could give you some suggestions, but they don't. Like these holes in the back, the vent holes, they don't even tell you a suggestion what to put in there. And these servo pockets, like I told you, I had to put in here. They could at least tell you in the instructions that what size the pockets are, so you can buy your servos accordingly. But they didn't. And one other thing on these laser rods, they give you a little tool, though they don't give it to you. You got to buy this little tool right here. And what this does, it goes on this rod here. One end is 2/56. You screw that on. Little gnarled tool. I don't know, it was like $4 or $5 for this crazy thing. Put it in, and then you stick it in the end of the laser rod, the clear rod, and you screw it on down in there. You don't have to screw it in very far. You probably can't see it, but this right here, this is only screwed in there about, I don't know, a little over 1/8 of an inch, and you can't turn it any further. These clevises, these are spring steel clevises, and there are rubber keepers that help hold them together, but I can't imagine they'll ever come apart, even if I didn't put one on there. Here's an adjustment screw. They're just incredible as far as I'm concerned. So this thing here, the one thing I would say to Dubro, you ought to just include this tool, this little tool here. When you buy a pair of these laser rods, I suggest you just put this in the package with it. So that a guy will have everything. You don't have to buy an extra tool. That's crazy. You got to put it in the packet. So anyway, that's where it stands. So far, I'm pleased the way it's been going. If you're building a kit and you're trying other, you can make your push rods out of carbon fiber. You can make them out of hardwood dowels. I suggest you spring for some of these laser rods. I don't know what they were. I think they're $8 or $10 for two of them, 36 inches long, and you customize them any way you want. But to me, it's the most professional way that you can make a push rod setup. So anyway, so that's how it's going. Just thought I'd check in with you. So hope you having a good day, have a good evening, have a good week. So be safe out here.